Have you ever despaired about the up-and-coming generation? Today's guest is a support teacher, a teacher's aide at a local school. And one day the principal of that school asked her to run this social and emotional program with a group of disengaged kids. After that experience, she has not looked back, and she's been doing some incredible things in her school. But her vision goes bigger than that.
And a lot of people have it, and a lot of people don't know how to use it.
An amazing story of an everyday person making a real difference. I think you're going to learn a lot as you listen to this story from Roz. Thank you, Roz. Roz, I wanted to ask you, when you look around in our community, what are the greatest needs that you see?
I see mainly for the support of youth in housing and like even the homeless of different age groups that they have, but mainly youth and young children, and being compassionate towards them and giving them a voice and listening to their stories as well.
Why do you think that's such a big issue, that the young people...
Well, they end up growing up big like us.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a voice now, it's harder for them to express themselves in the future when they get older. And let their feelings be heard or their points be put across and be taken for serious and understood.
You work as a teacher. I imagine that's part of where this you've seen this need.
Yes, I have. I first started, I'd say about over 10 years ago. I did my first year of my teaching degree, and then my dad passed away and I put on hold. And I went back and I couldn't absorb anything, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll just leave it. So by the 10 years had overlapped, I went back and they said, no, you've got to re-register. And I thought, oh, I don't think I want to do teaching.
Right.
And then I kept on getting this urge of like special ed, being there for the children and supporting them, but not being just in a classroom and staying there. And I couldn't understand what that meant, so I left it and prayed about it a lot. And every time it came back, it said, you need to get into youth, you need to get into youth, you need to be supporting. Don't do your degree in education as like being a teacher, because I thought of even relief time. Yeah. And I thought, I'd like to do that and just do it at the school I was at, because then I knew the children, knew their background. But it kept on coming back saying, you need to be their support, their ears, eyes and voice, and give that to them so they could speak up. And I prayed for probably another 4 years and fought with God continuously. And I have a very strong belief, but didn't believe that it was actually him telling me to do this. And I think, am I arguing with myself? He ended up winning in the end. And I decided 4 years ago to scrap the idea of being a teacher for good and pick up a Bachelor of Child and Family Studies, which helps me to support children and families. And that was through counselling, youth work, homing, education. So it still brought me into the school environment, but a bigger umbrella.
Yes.
So,
tell me about some of the things that break your heart the most when you...
breaks my heart. I see a lot of children come in trauma, with trauma, and or have seen trauma, being inflicted by trauma, and just the anguish they have and the hate they have on people or the hate they have on themselves. And just trying to explain to them it's not their fault and allowing them to open up. And I've had a bit of background of it myself, but to me, I think it's made me stronger. And I don't know if it's that sort of era of you got to step up and be strong and don't let anything knock you down. And as I see now, you can't have that concept of it with children coming through. You can't say, oh, dust yourself off and get up. You'll be right. It's very different now. I believe that they understand more than you realise. So I might have like shut it out, but when I see it now with children come through the school or children out of school that I see and meet,
Yeah.
You know, they really get haunted by it. And I've seen children, young children, like inflict harm on themselves. That is sad, and it's like, oh, I just want to give you a hug and you know, take the pain away. But it's not. That's not that simple. It's not. So, and I just want them to have a voice and to be able to share their feelings, share, and not be shut down. Not to be shut down. So.
A lot of people might see these needs and just think that they're too big to do anything about. Do you think? What makes you think we can make a difference?
They are big, but I think it's the right person with the right attitude and have the empathy for others.
Yep.
And I think even that bit of background of your own that you've gone through and understand, not understand what they've going through themselves, because everybody's story is different, but have that empathy of understanding the situation or what they've gone through.
That goes a long way, just listening to other people, you think?
Listening. I mean, a lot of the time I just sit and I listen.
Yeah.
We listen, we colour in, we listen. And they open up. And it's them who have to open up. You can't keep badgering them with questions or that, but just having those ears.
Yep. Yeah. Have you seen people take progress?
Oh, I have. I've seen them even out of school when they've started high school, and we see each other in the street and I ask them how they're going. And my program, or what I do, only stays in the school environment. I haven't gone further yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of the children ask me, can you just come with me to high school? I need you with me. And I said, no, there's other children and there's other support as you go through high school. And I always ask them which high school they go to and all that. And I know, like, some connections through some of the high schools anyway. But I do, and then I see them grow up and I see them get their first job and then get their licence, and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like my own children. And they're growing up too quickly then. But most of them, I'd say, are doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
And they still see me and they still have a chat about stuff and all that. So,
So some of these kids you've journeyed with for some time.
Oh, yes, from like year one. And now my year ones finished year 12 last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last year or the year before.
Wow.
And I think just building that rapport with them and that trust. You can't give trust. You have to build the trust with them, and they have to allow that to happen. Yeah. And it takes a long time. Some children you get trust straight away, but others it takes a long time. Yeah.
Tell me about your dream.
My dream, my big dream it's not a real, I wouldn't class it as a dream. It's a goal.
A goal, yeah.
It'd be a goal for me. I would like to somehow, in the future, after I complete studies, I think it'd be too much at the moment on my shoulders if I could do it now. But if I was able to be, I don't know, somehow assist with it, it'd be really good. So my dream is, my goal, would like to purchase property and have it established to support youth, young adults, young families, single parents, so they can freely come and go when they feel they have the confidence to leave and rebuild their life again. Have that support there, have certain support systems in place, have it like set up like little units of their own. But then there'd be a communal kitchen, communal barbecue area, but have their own bedroom, their own bathroom. So all that is individual, and they can are freely to come and go, but feel safe. Feel safe that they can come when they feel they need to and leave when they're free. They're not captured, and they don't have to stay for a period of time until they get fixed. Because some children don't get fixed, and it's not fixing them; it's supporting them. Yeah. So no one can fix anything unless you've got a hammer and nail. Yeah. But that's not always secure either. Building always falls down or rots away, or so it's more to give them support and knowing that they can come back in 10 years' time and say, hey, it's me, look at me, look what I've achieved, or I need help in this area. But I'd like to have, I don't know where, I'd like to do it in Ipswich, but when and how, that is my dream. Wow. And so I've just handed it over to God, and he will let us know or let me know. And I do see homes up for sale. I think, that'd be a good size, because it can't be like a two-bedroom place. It has to be, and have like a live-in support. Like I wouldn't live there. I've got my own home to live in, but I would do residential stuff and that. But have like a live-in nurse or that sort of thing, and like security, but not heavy security. It'd be more safe if they think, oh no, someone's following me back to here. There's someone outside that I'm not sure about, that sort of thing. But make it their own.
Yeah.
And just life skills and people skills and social skills and.
How do you think that sort of arrangement's ideal compared to the current things that are on offer?
Some I see you've got to be in that area and position for a period of time.
Yeah.
But I don't want that pressure. I want them to still be independent and free to come and go. So I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it more so. But it makes me upset that I see there are buildings in Ipswich that are not being used. And I understand there's red tape and rigmarole and all that and government and council things and laws and regulations, but sometimes I just wish they'd just cut that tape sometimes and say, hey, this is what we like to do. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And not just talk about it. Let's have the guts just to do it. Yep.
Have you shared this goal with many people?
One of the ladies I work with and all that. So we once in the blue moon put in lotto and say, yep, this is for our house we're going to put together and all that. My small group. Mm-hmm. But really that's all.
Yeah.
I once in a while think, I should write to council. Mm-hmm. But I get frightened. I then see that's where my negative comes into it.
What do you think would happen if you start?
One, they won't read it or I haven't worded it right.
Yeah. Or they wouldn't understand.
No, they would understand, but it wouldn't be complex for them. It'd be in simple words.
Yeah.
And I worry about that sometimes. They might not want just the simple words. They might want,
They might want someone who sounds like they know what they're doing.
And I'm someone that
with a business plan and
who has an idea, but I don't have a business plan. I just have an idea.
Sometimes the simple ideas.
I think it's a good idea, but
yeah, I think it's a great idea.
So that's my goal, my dream, and I don't want to own it as like just say it is owned by this company. I just want it to be non-profit, but be able to be
Wow. Why do you think you have a goal that is so others-centered rather than just aiming for your own achievement?
I think it's because what I've gone through when when I was younger, and what my own children have gone through.
Yes.
And protecting them and keeping them safe, and like they've grown up and they're adults, and I can't always keep them safe. I can guide them and give them my thoughts, that I can't tell them what to do because now they're adults. Mm-hmm. But knowing what I've gone through and what I've seen and what I've seen other children go through, because I'm a big believer. I'm an adult; I can look after myself. Mm-hmm. Children have adults to look after. Children have adults that need, the adults have to look after the children, but sometimes that fails. So children need somebody.
Need someone that can look after them.
Yeah, and take care of them.
Yeah. No, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's got nothing to do with money, and it's got nothing to do with like assets you have or how rich you are. I think it's just heart. Mm-hmm. Heart and empathy and compassion.
Yeah. And
all that. That's the main thing. That's free.
Yep.
And a lot of people have it, and a lot of people don't know how to use it. And a lot of people say, you've got to have money. I'm thinking, do you really? What's stopping us saying, let's get together at the park once a week and let the kids run free and have no boundaries?
Yeah. Do you think parents need more support?
Yes. I think they need to be led to where the support is. A lot of people don't know unless they know somebody that knows. Yeah. Because you don't always go to the doctor and they might not say, do this, do this, do this. Yeah. You've got to ask questions, so you need to know what questions to ask.
What questions to ask.
And the right questions, because, mine is like I've just looked and I've asked every question.
Yeah.
And
you
even
haven't been afraid to do that.
You might think that's a stupid question, but by the end of the day, you're thinking, I got that answered, and it was so simple that I didn't see. And talk to not everyone, but people that you trust, because they have the the outside eyes and the ears that can look in and go, okay, this is I've heard this, and you could go here and get support from there. So so I've spoken to. Can I mention names?
Sure.
Okay, I've spoken to Brett at Oikos. So I'd like to, because I know Brett myself personally. That when I finish my studies, I want to sit down with him and talk bigger with him, because he works in conjunction, or works supportive with in Connect with Ipswich as well, which is next door to Oikos. They have food supplies that's done through Centrelink, and there's groups that they have there as well. So I go there on the holidays, so they know that I'm not a client, I'm an observer, and I get some support from them as well, to know for background information for what I need for children or for families. And so
I see a lot of homelessness around at the moment. People have really got to that last point where they don't know what else to do.
No, we were going for a walk, but then we saw a few cars that were just parked in the car, like a normal car park, and people living outside, even in actually Queen's Park as well. We've noticed a few cars that are parked there at night time, and their whole life is in the car, and they seem fine. I've spoken to a few of them, and there's one that has a push bike, and he goes out through the day and goes to work, and
goes to work,
but it's just housing. It's just housing. And I hear a lot about the affordable housing that they want to build, and I need to really investigate on that, how that all works, and what's open for it, and who can apply for it, and how is it. What's their steps for people applying for it, or what's the steps for able to live there, and so what do the costs of affordable housing for a person?
What have been some things that you've learned on your journey that really do help you overcome trauma in your past?
I think I say talking about it and not be ashamed. Like, there's things I never got physically tormented. I will probably emotionally more so, and mentally. But don't be ashamed. Talk to somebody that you know. I go to a psychologist as well, so that was all through uni. So I kept, because uni suggests with my course I do, they suggest go. You may not need to go, but go, because then what you're learning, you can see the other side of how they are implementing it. So I actually kept her, I just go once a fortnight or once a month, and just talking about general stuff. And sometimes I go and think, I don't think I need to be here, but then we just talk about general stuff. And then we talk about past stuff, future stuff, studies, and with someone I trust, and have that thick community, not as like a whole community as like 2-3 people. And build that, have a good rapport with people.
Thick community. What do you mean by that?
Oh, someone that's there and appreciates who you are. And doesn't matter what you've gone through, where you've been, what you look like, what colour you are, what nationality, what's your culture. But someone that's thick, that's inside and out. And do lots of running. Do lots of running, hey? And I know a lot of people say, I don't like running though. Oh, that's okay. I'll do it for you. But and have that time even for you to reflect. And reflecting is crying too. You're allowed to cry. Don't bottle it up. Because one day you'll explode.
So be honest with yourself and be honest with a few other people.
So, I mean, a lot of people don't know my story, and they don't need to know my story, but the close people, a handful of people know my story.
Do you tell them everything?
I do. And then some people will say, oh, I didn't know this happened. I said, oh, yeah, that happened. You know, I dealt with it and it took a while. It doesn't, I'd say it doesn't take the night. I said, be prepared. But you'll go backwards and you go forward through all these processes and steps and all that. And then you get to the end and you're thinking, oh, 10 years has passed.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, where's 10 years gone?
Yeah.
It's been longer, but yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But,
so it's a few steps forward, a few back.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
That's just the process you've got to go through.
If you fall off that horse, get back on. But you get back on when you are able. Don't get people to force you. Forcing people doesn't work. It has to be their own person wanting to do something about it. Yeah. But be there for their support with that listening ear.
Yeah, that's something that you've said at the beginning as well, that it's about supporting somebody. You can't make anybody.
You can't tell them. You can't tell them. You can tell them that the sky's blue.
Yeah. Have you experienced people trying to make things happen like that with people?
I have, and I'm a big observer. So if I go to a party, I observe everybody. I don't know why, but I do. And I won't be an upfront person to start conversation straight away. So I observe and I will choose that conversation with who is there and that. And I have seen people push people into things and either that person gets hurt or the person receiving the pushing backfires and retreats. And so
it's about listening. What's that person want to be doing themselves and just being there. Yeah.
The first thing is listening. You don't even have to say anything. Yeah. Just listening. Yeah. Just sitting there and listen. And it might take 10 minutes. It might take an hour and just listen. Yeah.
Takes a lot longer than, you can't rush these things, can you?
No.
People, do you think people can change?
I think they can if they want to, or if they want to put the yards into it. But I wouldn't even say but. They want to change, but it has to be on their terms because we can't push it. That's the thing. It's just, I was watching something the other day, and this young girl used to go to church, and she doesn't go to church now. She's older now, like she's probably in her 30s, and she had great trauma inflicted on her, and she said she remembered when she walked away from God, but while she was in that trauma, that's the only thing that she had with her. The only support, and that's the only thing that got her through all the stuff. And she came out the end, and she's not fixed, but she knows that she is better. Yeah, she is getting better, and she's going towards better places in her life and all that. And there's still work that she needs to do. And it just takes time. And all that, so yeah.
How do you see God as being important in this process?
Well, after having 4 years of arguing with him, to me, very important. Because, you think it's just your thoughts, and some things are just your thoughts. Yeah. But when it's a consistent and triggering different sides of that thought that you do, and you walk away and think, oh, did I really think that? Or was that God? Then you go, hang on, no, that's not me. That's me arguing with God. So sometimes God speaks to me, sometimes he doesn't. But when it's something dramatic or big, it is. I mean, who dreams of having a goal set of purchasing or somehow receiving property to assist youth and young adults? I never thought of that. I didn't think of that 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I didn't think of that when I was 15. Yeah. I just, how do you think that? So
it'll be fascinating to see where that leads.
You'd like to, yeah, me too. So yes, that's, yes. And thing like you think of it, I'm going to go and get petrol. Those sort of things are natural. That's unconscious things you just do normal. It's a normal thing. But, and this is just like not a miracle. It's
inspiration.
A spiritual inspiration, because it's who thinks of those things? You think, oh your minister or your pastor would think those things, not just an everyday Joe.
No, you don't sound like an everyday Joe.
No, I don't. I don't see myself as average Joe anymore.
Good.
But yeah, in that respect, and I've come a long way, and I do have down days. Everyone has down days, but you find that one or two things that is your mechanism to coping with it. And mine is running or gym.
Yeah.
Running and gym. So yeah. I love my family. I love spending time with friends, but they are the most. I think because it's a running, your adrenaline is just running and pumping through, and it's going faster and faster and faster. By the end of it all, it's like all that worry and stress is out.
It's gone.
And all that. So yeah.
Thanks, Roz.
That's okay. I love this. I've said to people, I've got a podcast happening. I've never done it before, so yeah.
Well, thank you, Roz, for, I think, inspiring us all, giving us hope. Now, if there was something that stood out to you in this podcast, or you've got an encouragement for Roz, I'd encourage you, share that in the comments below. Now, if you'd like to connect with me or maybe get in touch with Roz, I'd love you to do that by visiting our website, haventogether.com. Now, we've got some exciting episodes coming your way, so stay tuned for them. But until next time, I'm Tom, and this is the Figuring Life Out Together podcast.